Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 13, text number 24. Etad akyahi me Brahman Sunitam Majaschestitam Shraddhadanaya Bhaktaya Tvam Paravaravittamaha. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Vidura requested Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, you are well versed with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Vena. I am your faithful devotee, so please explain this purport. Vidura accepted Maitreya as a spiritual master. A disciple always inquires from the spiritual master, and the spiritual master answers the questions, provided the disciple is very gentle and devoted. Srila Bhaktivedanta Chakravarti Thakur said that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one is blessed with the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The spiritual master is not inclined to disclose all the secrets of transcendental science unless the disciple is very submissive and devoted. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the process of receiving knowledge from the spiritual master entails submission, inquiry, and service. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, the conversation continues where Vidura is putting several questions to Maitreya Rishi. Here he says that please explain to me, because you are well conversant with everything of the past and future. Please explain to me the activities of King Vena. And he says, I am a faithful devotee, so please explain to me. So Prabhupada explains that this is the attitude with which one should approach the spiritual master. One should approach the spiritual master submissively. One should inquire from the spiritual master submissively. The disciple should be gentle and devoted. And then the spiritual master, out of his causeless mercy, is not bound to give you anything. Just as Krishna, ye tamam prapadyanse tam sate bhajamiham. As per the kind of relationship you extend to him, the spiritual master also responds to that. Of course, the spiritual master is always willing to give out the mercy of the Lord, because he is the via media through which Lord's mercy comes to the disciple. As Prabhupada says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadat, Yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, one cannot get the mercy of Krishna. And the mercy of the spiritual master you can get by submissively inquiring and serving him. Pariprashnena sevaya. So we attain spiritual realizations. Spiritual realization means realization of the great secrets of existence. That realization comes from the mercy of the spiritual master. Because right now, in the material world, we are completely covered. Our original Krishna consciousness is covered. Because we are all part and parcel of Krishna. We belong to him. Now we have to tell ourselves or somebody else to tell us, you are servant of Krishna. Now our realization is opposite. Nobody has to tell us, I am this body. We are fully realized that I am this body. Or if there is a world opposite of realization, illusionized, you can say, we are fully in illusion that I am this body. So mercy of the spiritual master means what? By that mercy you come out of this material existence. You come out of this trap. Come out of this bodily concept of life and realize Brahman concept of life. And realize further that I am Brahman, servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am a spirit servant, spirit soul. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets the realization. As comfortably we are walking around this world that I am this body, with the same ease, one who gets realized, he walks around this world with easy understanding that I am not this body, I am part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is Supreme Brahman, I am Brahman. Not only himself, he sees everywhere. The pure spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna in all bodies are trapped in these material bodies. Trapped in the material body means what? Not physically trapped. Even though physically we are situated in the region of the heart in this body, but it is not a physical bondage. Because we are, the Brahman means Jnana Swarupa. Brahman is a knower. Brahman is not a matter substance. I am not a matter substance. That is why when you live in a dead body and live a live body, you cannot see the difference. But a few minutes before you have been talking to somebody, that person has disappeared. So that person is not a matter. We, the persons in this body, are not matter. Matter has never shown any property of persons. The microphone cannot think, feel, will. Body cannot think, feel, will. I in this body can think, feel, will. So these are like the secrets of real existence. That is what it is mentioned here, that the spiritual master is not inclined to disclose all the secrets of transcendental science unless the disciple is very submissive and devoted. We want to realize our eternal nature. This body is not eternal. This body is, when the living entity realizes he is Brahman, then this body is a big embarrassment, as Prabhupada says. The body is this stool passing body is a big embarrassment for the soul. For such a soul to think that I am the body is very embarrassing. Because the quality of Brahman is deathlessness. Quality of Brahman, that my real substance, is that it is a person who is part and parcel of Krishna, the Supreme Person, who is inseparable from the Supreme Person. As I said, our trapping is by way of ignorance that covers my knowledge. Om ajnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. That ajnana, ignorance, the spiritual master's mercy if you get, with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge, he'll open the inner eyes of the spirit soul to become free from this identification with this body and everything connected to this body. Aham, mameti. That is moha. Moha means illusion. So to become free from this illusion, not knowledge alone, realized knowledge. Realized knowledge means you are seeing it as real. You are feeling it as real. This is called realized knowledge. Vijnana. The spiritual master is always ready to give mercy. But with the attitude which is proud, full of pride, that I know everything, I am very intelligent. With that attitude, it is the opposite of what you are supposed to realize. Darkness and light cannot go together. We have free will to embrace darkness or light. So as long as that attitude is there is no question of the Lord in the heart, shining transcendental knowledge, to live a life, to live a realized life free from the bodily concept of life and engage in pure devotional service, which is our goal. Our goal should be, today I am doing devotion service in bodily concept of life. When can I do the same devotion service? Being aloof from the body, knowing very well this body is only an instrument with which I am engaging in service. I, this spirit, is driving this body in service of the Lord. Not I am the body. When will that time come? I want that. That desire should be there. And there should be surrender to the spiritual master. What does surrender to the spiritual master means? Surrender to Krishna, okay. Total surrender. I am his part and parcel. I surrender to Krishna. What does surrender to spiritual master means? Mean be very faithful to his instructions. Whatever my spiritual master says is absolute. I don't doubt it. Not that after few years of association with the spiritual master, then you start analyzing in your mind like an ordinary person. Prabhupada says, better to be a fool before the spiritual master. Trying to be very intelligent. More than the spiritual master. The attitude. Analyze and criticize. Intellectually. Without understanding everything that the spiritual master has spoken in a proper context. Just like now it has become very common in ISKCON. Prabhupada said women are less intelligent. This is against discrimination. All are equal. Even his own disciples have fallen into this trap. They don't understand. But it's a very, very scientific, factual statement that, of course, in the proper context we have to understand. In an ideal Vedic society, man has a role, woman has a role. And in that role, the women constitutionally, bodily, mentally are made to be highly emotional. See, how do we control emotions? By intelligence. So it is not that they don't have, there is a kind of intelligence to manage emotion that is less. Every rule has an exemption. When Prabhupada says less intelligent, then next he says, if you are a devotee, then nothing. You are not limited by all those things because Krishna is involved in your life. Dadami buddhi yogam tamena maam upayantite. Krishna is giving you intelligence. So if you surrender to Krishna, there is no question of one less intelligent than the other. So when he said less intelligent, it means emotionally, abundance of emotion. Now, you may say women have lot of emotions they have. Lot of emotions being there is not equal to emotional intelligence. If you have a lot of emotions, you need proportionately that much emotional intelligence to handle it. Is it not? So therefore, these are some of the factual things from the Shastra we have to understand. Within the Varnashrama system, which is again not based on birth, Again, it is not having anything to do with today's caste system of modern world. We should never associate Varnashrama with the present caste system. It is total bogus. Because Kalo Shudra Sambhava. Everybody is a Shudra. Because spiritual qualification is not there. We're all born out of parents who have no spiritual qualification, so we have Shudras. Nobody has spiritual qualification in this world now. A parent who's following all the samskaras and everything, Krishna conscious way. Where is that? Where is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? So we're all basically Shudras with little Kshatriya quality, little Brahmana quality, little Vaishya quality. Fundamentally, because of lack of spiritual education, spiritual knowledge, everybody in this world is a Shudra. So in this context, as a matter of fact, yes, Prabhupada would have said less intelligent. It simply means that their ability to manage their emotions without being exploited. When somebody is very emotional, one can be easily trapped and exploited. So therefore they always to be under the protection of somebody who is not that emotional. Somebody may be very emotional in one subject matter, one Mataji may be very emotional in one subject matter. That doesn't mean that, in somebody else's case, they will be less emotional. They can advise very better, much better in their case. Their intelligence will be not clouded by emotions. So always you need assistance to take advice from elders. And in the normal Varnashrama system, it is said that the women has to be under the protection of the father, after that husband, after that the son. They have to be under the protection. It's such a nice system. The whole holistic system. And it's not that if they are very emotional, they have a great contribution to make just because they are less intelligent in terms of emotional intelligence. Their ability to handle their emotions, without getting exploited. But their emotions are very valuable. In life, emotions are required. In family, emotions are required. Women keep the children, progeny, everybody together at home by emotional bondage, which is very much also required. The transcendental, you come to chant Hare Krishna, it's all right. We have to be detached from all this family and all those things. But the world has to run. If the family system breaks, then world will be in a very bad situation. It will not be favorable for preaching Krishna consciousness. So anyway, like this, so many things that Prabhupada has said. Being influenced by modern movements, modern thinking, so-called their own self-defined equality. You can see, many in the internet you can see, Prabhupada's own disciples are saying, this Prabhupada, what he said is not correct. He said what not correct, all this. Better to be a fool before the spiritual master. And then you could think deeply what Prabhupada said factually is right. In contexts, different people may read it differently. What is the tattva that Prabhupada is talking about? So one has to be very submissive to the spiritual master. Finish. If a disciple goes into in that attitude, blocked. All realizations are blocked. One doesn't even realize that. He'll think he is very intelligent. That is why it said, Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasad. Krishna does not release the transcendental signs in the heart of a devotee unless he is in good standing with the spiritual master as a faithful disciple, faithful to his teachings. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, in the purport, Prabhupada mentioned that the disciples should be submissive. The disciples would be submissive and devoted. When Prabhupada started this movement, the hippies or whomever he came across, without any discrimination, meaning without this qualification, also Prabhupada has given Krishna consciousness to them. When it comes to community like ours, we got the blessings of Prabhupada, some degree of this qualification, even if it is not to the requirement. Authorities will come and correct us if there is no proper consciousness, attitude.
If there is no?
Proper attitude, proper consciousness.
Attitude.
So, should we consider this as a special blessings and give the same thing to our down the line, at least full-time missionaries, or only we should take the benefit and keep quiet?
No, but whatever we receive mercy, we should give it out. Again, give it out. You don't give it out to anybody else. Anybody, you see some qualification. Whether this person will receive at all. There are hundreds of people who are coming for darshan. Why we won't tell the highest philosophy to them, to everybody? Adhikara, you see the qualification. Isn't it not? It is not simply about, telling Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and all those things. There is a step-by-step something, then only it will register into them. So many people come, some of them become congregation, some of them start chanting, some of them buy books, like that, different levels. So we also have to see whom you are talking to. And according to that, you have to give your, preach Krishna consciousness or preach the mercy that you have received from Prabhupada. But the spirit is always to share. The spirit should always be to share. More realization you share with devotees, submissive devotee who want to receive it, the more you get realizations, fresh realizations. So this is called Bodhayanta Parasparam. Devotees live exchanging their realizations. And this way there is a continuous flow of mercy of the spiritual master in not only individual but in the whole community. That is why this Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya is very important. Every day Bhagavatam class is very important. Where devotees share their realization. Any other question?
Other way of saying, first question what I asked to share our realization and help others, even though they may not be that much qualified, but based on the qualification, based on their edama prapatyante, the same way we can give to down the line devotees. The principle remains same as it is mentioned here. The degree in which we are submissive, inquiring, submissive and devoted, even our God brothers, means senior God brothers, devotees, will give the instruction to us. So that way it is purely up to us. How much we are submissive and devoted, we will be benefited. Even, even if you are there in the ashram, we may not be benefited unless we have submissive and devoted. To the full capacity we cannot utilize. Can I understand this way, Prabhu?
That is exactly what it is said. Just like you pour water on a rock, it cannot absorb. You pour water on the sand, it can absorb. A sponge can absorb. So submissive attitude means we should be like sponge. Our attitude should be sponge-like attitude. Then we absorb whatever we read from Prabhupada. So that is what we have to cultivate. So a lot depends on the receiver also. Just like Prabhupada says, sunlight is everywhere, right? It is up to us to go and stand under the sun and receive the heat, light. It's everywhere. Similarly, I repeatedly said that samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karunya gana ganatvam. The cloud of mercy is raining down, right? Kalikale nama rupa Krishna avatara. Krishna is incarnating in his sound. They're all chanting. The rain is the same. But how much of the rain we are getting wet, our soul is catching that rain of mercy. Depends person to person to person. So that is our attitude. What is the attitude with which you are doing japa? What is the bhavana with which you are doing japa? You receive. Because that rain is a person, Krishna. There it operates. Ye tamam prapadyanse tam sate bhajamyam. You said that in the beginning those people didn't have that devotion and submissiveness. Correct? No. Whatever little they had, that was sincere. You have to understand that. And that much they got. Because of that they got mercy. Because they got little mercy, they became little more sincere. Then again, because of the little more sincerity, they had the ability to offer more devotion and submissiveness. Like that, by association of a pure devotee, the qualification or the adhikara to receive increases. So source is the same. Source is standing steady, giving freely. But we have to churn, take, improve, take, improve, take, improve, take, improve our submissiveness. Receive, learn how to surrender. When you surrender more, you receive more. When you receive more, you become more surrendered. When you're more surrendered, you'll receive more. One feeds into the other. That's how our japa also works. You don't have to worry. As you improve, As you follow Guru's instruction, your quality of japa will go on increasing if you follow the instructions. Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, we heard about emotions and intelligence. So I remember a quote of Prabhupada where it says that we should preach with the courage of an Englishman and with the heart of a Bengali mother. So can you explain or speak something about this?
Yeah, proper balance between intelligence and emotion. That is a balanced person. Intelligence is very important, emotion is very important. So, anyway, I forgot to mention one more thing. Men, women, equal, all those statements are coming, no. That is for proper men. Where is proper man in this world now? Proper man who can, full self-control he has got of all his emotions. Where is that? Every man is a woman only. Every woman is a man only. Ulta. Everything is topsy-turvy now in the society. Is it not? So foolishly people understand, how can it be? Is Prabhupada so foolish to say that women are less intelligent than men, when so many women are so successful, so brilliant? Such high material positions they have attained. They have that ability, but yet this weakness will hit always. When it comes to their personal life, their emotions, they may be very highly achieved. When it comes to their personal emotions, to give up that attachment will be difficult. The women think to tell somebody that, I cannot live without you. And the man, for a moment, he will say, I cannot live without you. But actually, it's a lie. Man will just drop like this. Women get stuck because they're emotionally, sincerely, they say, I cannot live without you. So they are in for shock in life. So all this has to be understood in the proper context. First you accept what Prabhupada said is not anywhere, it is from the Shastra. So a balanced person, who is a balanced person? Who is spiritually advanced. He has complete balance of emotion and intelligence. If he is only 100% intelligent, then there is no life. Life becomes dry, isn't it? If only emotions and no intelligence, life becomes a calamity. Is it not? So you go to the extreme, life will either become a calamity or it will become tasteless, dry. And we cannot. Nobody can live without emotions. Bhakti yogis, they shift their emotion to Krishna. Life is all about feeling. To feel the independence of ego only we have come into this material world. Everything is about feeling. False ego is an ego feeling. Spiritual intelligence. Spiritual intelligence means intelligence to manage your ego feelings. Throw out false ego feelings. And to fill yourself with the servant feeling, ego of a servant. I am the servant of Krishna. Any other question? Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.